I'm going to teach you a little trick about the bobbin sensor. So when your bobbin gets low, you're going to have a little message that will come up on the screen to indicate that you're almost out. Well, sometimes people will look down in here and they'll see the thread and they'll say, no, I'm not out, but actually they're really, really close. Now, once you have the message on the screen, if you want to continue sewing, just finishing up your seam, you'll probably make it. Just don't touch the message or clear the message off the screen. Just leave it sit right there and keep sewing once it comes up. Now, here's how the sensor actually works. If you'll notice in your bobbin, you kind of have this little upper deck and the lower part. When the lower part is emptied, that's where the sensor shoots through and says, hey, you're out of thread. But when you wind a bobbin, the part at the top is what fills first. So it fills all that area up, and then it jumps down and fills this bottom part, which is fine, except some of your finer thread, you end up with a lot of thread up there. So you feel like, oh, why did it show me I'm almost out? I really have a lot more to go. So here's how to trick it. So I'm going to just wind kind of a really quick partial bobbin, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So we're going to thread the bobbin from the inside out. Take my little thread. And again, I'm just going to wind a really short bobbin, and then we'll sew and show you how it's going to all look here. All right, take your bobbin, put it up on the bobbin winder. Notice I'm winding it through the needle. Put it in the little groove here. Thread sits right across the front little bars here. That's great. Push that over so you can start to wind. Now, as soon as it starts to wind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap this thread down and let it fill the bottom part first. So there's just going to be a couple wounds, a ring of thread, just a couple times before I push it down. So it's going to fill up the bottom first, and then it'll fill in the top, which means when the bobbin sensor goes off, that is going to mean you are out because there's not much thread left because of how you want it. So here's how I'm going to do. I'm holding up top here so it starts to wind, okay, and then I'm going to just tap it down. Now it's winding down below the bobbin. Great. Now just to show this how this works, I'm going to clip the thread and we're going to change out the bobbin. I'm going to do a little sewing until we get that message to come up. All right. And this is great for embroidery because, of course, when you're embroidering and you don't want to be embroidering without bobbin thread. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to sew. Maybe I'll set for a zigzag, and we'll do a really short. Oh, that's width. Okay, really wide, really narrow. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to be going back and forth here. There's the sensor. Okay, so it says press OK. Now, if I want to sew to the end of my seam, maybe I'm really, really close here, I can just go ahead and sew. But what I'm going to do is not. I'm going to go ahead and cut my thread, and I'm going to show you how much thread is left on this bobbin because of our new way of winding. So here we go. See really close, see down below it is empty. Okay, so here's how much thread we have. We had a couple couple rounds at the top when we started, and that is all the thread we have left on our bobbin. So that's how you can trick it. When you're out, you're going to be out. So keep your bobbins wound and ready to switch them out as soon as you see the message.